Hello. Welcome,
Hey.
ladies. Well, we got to talk to everyone out there. Thank you first for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. And welcome to Hey Girl, Let's Talk. This is a virtual series that we're going to be doing on a weekly basis with all the amazing women at Radio One in Charlotte. And for these ladies here, Olympia D from 105.3 R&B and Holly Hayes, who comes right after me, tag teaming at Mix 1079. And of course, hello, everyone. I'm Madison James. And we're going to be talking about a lot of things that we as women, we deal with: fitness, finance, kids, family, all of that. So there's going to be different segments from all of our amazing women with the Radio One group. But today, what we like to talk about is health and fitness. So that's what we're going to chat about, is health and fitness. And Olympia, just want to check, how was your we had Labor Day not too long ago. How was that?
It was great. And I heard that you're going to join us on some of our walks. We do a lot of walking over the weekend. And I was talking to one of our coworkers, Gwen, and she was like, Madison says she's going to join us. But this weekend, we did about 10 miles. We walked all the way from Tyvola Road to 485 South Boulevard.
Wow.
Yeah. By the time we finished, it was a struggle. Then we went to Crowder's Mountain, but it was really good. And so
Did someone drive you back? Because
no, we walked all the way back.
And that's what I was talking to Gwen about. I was like, oh, I want to go on your walk. So I'm thinking 6-7 miles. She's like, no, like 20. I said, girl, that's a bike. Like, you bike those, you got to get back. But I'm a woman of my word and I do enjoy it. So I will go, Holly, you'll have to come along with us. How was your weekend? What did you get into?
I just was on the lake for a little bit, enjoying. I rescued a dog last year, and we kind of didn't know how she was going to handle the sandbar and other dogs. So it was kind of an experiment, taking her out on the boat for the first time and letting her meet other dogs. And it was a success. So we're good. But we spent a lot of time on the water this past weekend. Well,
it sounds like everyone had an amazing time. Mine was kind of boring, but fabulous to me. I binge watched this new show that I found on Hulu called Killer Eve. That's a whole nother story, but I just couldn't stop. So it was like 3:00 in the morning. I'm like, oh, another one. So you just have to check it out. But let's get into what motivates us besides when we're spending with family and friends, and what keeps us sane. It does that for me. Health and fitness is very important to keep me here. Alleviate stress and things like that. So today's topic, we're going to be talking about, it starts in the kitchen. And I feel like that's the misconception that a lot of people, when they get into fitness, it is awesome and amazing that you're moving, but you can do all that movement and do all those things. But if we don't take care of what we eat, then we might have, not see the results that we're looking for. So with that, we have a special guest. Oh, I'm so excited. She's going to teach us a few things. A little backstory. She is a former collegiate athlete. You'll see when she comes up. She's like super tall, 6'4". We found out about it. She played basketball at Wake Forest. She went to the corporate world, but her passion is cooking. And she took a leap of faith not too long ago and decided to do it full time. And it's about cooking foods that are healthier for you, that have fewer calories, but still have flavor and still taste good. So I would like to bring to the conversation, she's right here in Charlotte, Chef Tish.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Chef
Tish. Thanks for having me.
Well, Chef Tiff, I know you're going to have an amazing meal for us and get all of us started with that. But I want to ask the ladies a question real quick. For you, what was the light bulb moment when you said, you know what, I got to change my diet? For me, it was doing the yo-yo. I just I can't keep going back and forth. I got to do something that I can keep for long term.
Mm-hmm. You want me to answer? I'll
answer.
Go
ahead, Holly.
There was quite a few different things, but the main one was I got really sick in around 2004. And at that time I was working out twice a day, and I got shingles, and I was like, why did my body, shingles is brought on by stress in the system. So I was like, why did my body rebel against me? What did I do wrong? I'm doing everything right. I'm eating so healthy. I'm working out. But I really wasn't as healthy as I thought I was. So it really made me reset everything that I ate and research what I ate and the quality. And like Madison said a couple of minutes ago, I was working out crazy amounts of workouts. Like I was at 10:30 at night on the elliptical, like struggling, but I was kind of the heaviest I ever was. So I had to do an evaluation of what I was eating, because like she said, if you're eating the wrong things, you're not going to see the results. And it's just, when we decided to do a fitness show, Madison and I kind of put our heads together for a little bit. We're like, wait a minute, we can't just go talking about workouts when we have to practice what we preach, and a lot of it starts in the kitchen. So that's what kind of reset me. And thank goodness it did, because it really changed my life.
Right.
Well, we'll get Chef Tish to get started, and I'll hit you up, Olympia, to start. Let us know what that is. So, Chef Tish, what do we have on the docket today? Because I know you do personal chefs too for people that are trying to change their life. Is that what you hear? Do you hear a lot of that?
Right. So I have a variety of clients, clients that are I have some clients who are recovering from like a cancer diagnosis. I also have clients who are trying to gain weight, gain muscle, lose weight. So I have a variety of people that I cook for and meal prep for weekly. I also do meals throughout the week. Like I sell platters, and those are typically not as healthy, but what I normally cook is those healthier meals, and it's all people who have different body goals. And what you eat don't just impact your physical health, it also impacts your mental health. So being able to provide that service for people in the Charlotte area, and even my family when I go back home to Birmingham, is a passion of mine, and I enjoy doing that because I do think you can make tasty meals that are also healthy. Like I think people often think that in order to eat healthy, it's going to taste like air or cardboard, but that's not true. Like you can use fresh herbs. They have tons of salt-free seasonings that you can use to pack some flavor in your meals. So yeah.
So what do you have for us today? What are we going to be watching you? I wish I was eating it. Watching you cook for us today. That's going to be simple for those busy families here in the Charlotte area.
Yeah. So today I am making a loaded sweet potato. So it's filling, and with this potato you can get as creative as you want. Like you have some options for variety, like switching in and out the protein. So the sweet potato today will be loaded with cauliflower, roasted cauliflower, spinach, mushrooms, onions, and then I put all of that in the sweet potato, and it's just some yummy goodness, and it's healthy.
Well, you want to go ahead and get it started? Because I know you've got,
yes, I can.
You're going to be cooking for us. And while she's getting that all set up, Olympia, what was your aha moment? Because you made your transformation during the pandemic.
I made my transformation during the pandemic, but I've always been into health and fitness. For me, it was a couple of years ago, I got diagnosed with fibroids, and I really, really didn't want to have surgery. So I tried to change up my diet, and I went hardcore raw vegan for about a year. That was hardcore. Although I wasn't successful with it, I realized that I do feel better when I do eat cleaner. So I'm not a hardcore raw vegan now. I play with it, going back and forth. Sometimes I eat meat, sometimes I don't. But for the most part, I've seen that since I've gotten older, it's more important for me to watch what I eat because it has more of an effect on me than it used to. You know, when you're playing basketball, volleyball, running track, it doesn't make a difference what you eat. You can manage to burn it off. When you start hitting those 40s, baby, that's a different story. That weight doesn't want to come off at all.
And it was kind of the same for me, like being a former collegiate athlete, doing those 2-a-days. We would be going like getting a 7-layer burrito. And then as I got older and started working, it's like, okay, but you didn't realize it's calories in, calories out. So I was burning more, no matter if it was junk, than what I was eating. But it wasn't a big thing back then. And yes, back in the 90s, early 2000s, it wasn't like it is now, like all the athletes have now when they go to school. But for me, the change was yo-yo dieting, being in competitions, and having a health scare where I said, I gotta figure this out. Everyone thinks I'm walking around here all shredded and healthy. What they don't see, I just ate sushi, but I'm on my bike at the house for 2 hours once I get home. Like all that just mentally, like Chef Tish talked about, it's just not a healthy place. But I eat any and everything right now. I just try to find a way to make it healthier. And that's kind of how I ran into Chef Tish, because some days I want to cook. I think we all go through that. So can you show us what we got going on right now, Chef Tish?
Yes. So right now I am, the other camera didn't come on. I am making, seasoning some cauliflower. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
See that? So this is, I put a tablespoon of olive oil in here, and then a generous amount of garlic herb, salt-free seasoning, some onion powder, and garlic powder. None of those have salt in it, so you can get as heavy-handed with those ingredients as you'd like. So I put those in there, and then I'm gonna put them on a sheet pan with some chicken breasts that I have already.
It's live, people. We're in her kitchen. No,
What'd you
I
say?
said we're live. We're in your kitchen.
So with this chicken, so I've already started the chicken breast because I knew we had limited time. So here it is so far. This has been or the chicken thigh, boneless, skinless chicken thigh. It has been in the oven for about 35 minutes. And this is also seasoned with that same seasoning. So the seasoning will go across your whole meal. No salt just yet.
Mm-hmm.
I do think you got to use just a little salt at the end to finish, but don't use the salt with the girl in the dress. That's the one that I use pink Himalayan salt.
Why, Chef, why is it? Can you explain to the audience, like, why that is different? Because I agree with, like, salt isn't bad, but it's getting the one where you just going crazy with it, because pink Himalayan, like, as a chef, like, what's the purpose of salt?
So pink Himalayan, like, the long story short of that to me is it's real salt. Like, I think once you get to the salt that's in that container with that girl, it's been processed so much that is what sends blood pressure up, cholesterol, like all of those things. So I stay away from that salt, and that's the salt that you see in the biggest containers. I'm from the South, so that's what you see in the kitchen in the South, like this season everything. Right. Yeah, like we're all in the South right now, so you cook a little differently. But the meal that I'm cooking today, you can feed a family of 6 for about $21.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you have a protein in there. I think I left that out initially. So I have boneless, skinless chicken thighs, which is a different alternative to a chicken breast. Chicken breast is obviously leaner, but chicken thigh is a little more cost efficient. Okay. And you have way more grace with chicken thigh. Like the difference in 1 minute in cooking a chicken breast perfectly done and overdone is seriously like 30 seconds, and you're eating rubber versus where you can kind of make some error when you're cooking chicken thigh.
Okay. Well, Libby, do you have a question for the chef, or any, like, you guys chime in with your questions?
No, but that was one of the things that I wanted to know. I'm like, why the chicken thighs instead of the chicken breast? Because normally you always go for the chicken breast. So she did answer that question for me, because I'm like, okay, why? But I will say this, it seems to be that the chicken thighs have more flavor than the chicken breast.
It do. And I think so. Again, I cook for a variety of people. Like, some people are looking for just lean everything. And chicken breast is more lean. It has a little less fat. And the difference in calories, chicken breasts, you actually have more calories because they measure it off of 3 ounces of chicken breast. Like, who's eating 3 ounces of chicken breast? So for 3 ounces of chicken breast, it's like 100 and almost 30 calories versus 90 in the chicken thigh, but you have more fat in the chicken thigh. Yeah, just a little more fat. And then you can peel, like, if you buy a packet of boneless, skinless chicken thighs, you see like the little fat around it, you can cut that off. Or you can leave it on for flavor and then cut it off in the end. Yeah.
And see, I want to know about this flavor, because my baby say I can't cook.
Holly, what do you do? Holly, you're a mom, and you've been cooking for a minute. Like, what tricks do you do? Because I know in the beginning your kids are young, and you got to make them, oh, I love it, I want to eat it.
Gosh, I have so many tricks that it would take a whole hour show. When they were really little,
give us two, Holly. Give us two.
Okay, if I'm talking to people with little kids trying to sneak in the greens, I pureed all of the greens like zucchini, even spinach. I would puree it into spaghetti sauce, into ketchup, into any dipping sauce. Kids love to dip. So if you can camouflage any dip or sauce or ketchup, especially the tomato-based ones, because that you can hide it in. You can't hide it in mayonnaise because the mayonnaise will turn green and they'll be like, ew, it's green. But you can hide it and they cannot taste it. As far as you guys were talking about chicken breast and chicken thigh, it's funny that Chef Tisha was talking about this, because I always steered away from chicken thigh because of the fat connotation with it, and like Olympia was saying, you always gravitate toward, chicken breast. It's leaner. It's the other white. No, it's the white meat, and pork is the other white meat, but no dark meat. I've been cooking with the chicken drumsticks and the thighs lately, and they do hold a lot more flavor, and they're richer and juicier. And you know what? Fat gets a bad rap, Madison. We talked about this.
Yep.
Your body needs fats. Mm-hmm. Your brain needs fats. Your brain, some people might argue with me, your brain needs animal fats, but it really does need the fats. So as long as you're not smothering it with, butter and bad stuff, right, the chicken dark meat is not bad. It's good for you. Enjoy it once in a while. You don't always have to have the turkey breast or chicken breast.
Right.
Yeah, and I will just touch on a little bit, because I do compete, and people, that's a whole nother type of diet that when you're looking at these people on Instagram and you're watching and you're seeing it, you have to understand when we're getting ready to get on stage, that's a whole nother level of fitness. It's not like it's any better than anyone else's level at beginning. It has nothing to do with that. You're judged on your muscle. So in order to do that, we have to come in at a very low percentage of fat. And what I explain to people is it would be the same as like if you have beef jerky, right? So you see beef jerky, it's all dehydrated and you can see everything in it. That's the same thing that we are when we get up on the stage, because you get that big juicy piece of steak. It's plump, it's nice and pretty because there's some fat in it, there's some water in it, there's all those things in it. So when we eat chicken thighs, we do probably early on, like in the prep. When it gets closer to it, has to be so dialed in to where this amount of fat is coming in, and we can tell you to the T, this amount of protein is coming in to the T. And that's not a lifestyle. So I want people to understand that people may make you feel like it's a lifestyle. It's not a lifestyle to walk around and be logging every single thing that you eat, knowing that seriously, guys, if you drink 10 ounces more of water than you should, it could blow a whole entire look, because how your body's going to hold it, how your body's going to look at it. And if you are tuning into this, first consult your physician before you start any exercise or any plan, no matter what that is. Talk with your doctor, but you got to start with something that's going to work for you and your family. You guys got kids, so kids can't eat, the chicken breast, but they probably want it breaded, fried. Don't get me wrong, the Chick-fil-A little chicken nuggets. They taste so good, but you can make your own. You can do those things at home and make your own. But when you're giving the kids like the drumsticks and the breast, or not the breast, the thighs, and if you want to give them breast, that's cool. Because I used to only eat white meat because I was like you all, I tear up some dark meat now. Let me tell you, I do not discriminate on any part of the chicken. This is going to come across my plate. Any part of the chicken.
Yeah.
So what made me get into it?
Yeah.
Honestly, a dare from a coworker. So a coworker many years ago, we would work out together, and she goes, I think I'm gonna do this bodybuilding thing. And I was like, okay, I'll do it with you. I mean, that's what it was. I was like, okay, I'll do it with you. Thinking like, okay, I'm already going to the gym. It's got to be the same, and not really understanding like, no, this is a whole, this is completely different. I hired a coach because I like things to be holistic. So I had a holistic coach out of Seattle, and I would, do my check-ins and all that stuff before virtual was a thing. And that's when I learned this whole, I thought I was in shape. And then I got in shape. And I was like, oh, that's what this is. You can't just work out and think you can eat whatever it is you want to eat. Because that's what I thought. I'm in the gym 2 hours a day. I can eat McDonald's and Burger King, I can eat that because I'm burning it off. And what people don't understand, like, if just example, and it's not apples to apples, and do what works for you, but it's like, oh, I eat a cookie, I just ran and burned it off, when that's really not quite how it works. It doesn't really work like that.
I don't remember who said it in our last show, but you really have to fuel to perform. And your body, this is the only one we got. This is it. So if you want a nice, healthy life later, you're going to have to work out. You're going to have to eat, and you don't have to. This is what I like about our panel right here. Madison is currently training for a competition, Olympia. It does the walking, the moving is important. And I'm kind of like in the middle of that. I do weights, but I'm not in any competition. So you got to find what fits and works for you, or else it's going to be like a sabotage, whether it's in the kitchen and you're attaining these goals where, oh, I don't like cooking this and I don't have time for this and I don't have money for this, or I can't afford a gym. The different levels of fitness, it could be a daunting word for someone who says, I can't afford that. You don't need to. You can go walk. It doesn't cost you anything to walk. And don't say you don't have time. You do have time. Don't fool yourself into saying you don't have time. If you have 30 minutes to scroll social media or watch a TV show, you have 30 minutes to go take a walk. So you have to get moving, and the different fitness levels shouldn't be daunting. Everyone can do something. That fits. To
your point, Holly, I think a lot of people are like, oh, I have to go to the gym, and you don't,
Nope.
Oh, a lot of people say, oh, I need to run. And I do some running, but you can achieve some of the same results of burning calories by walking. You just have to get your body moving. That's the main thing. It's like, okay, get your body moving, because sometimes, I work out with different people. Not everyone is on the same level. So I've adopted walking. However, when I'm by myself, I might run, but it just depends on your own fitness level. You can do whatever you need to do. The main part, or the most important part, is to make sure that you get your body moving. And for me, I need to clean up my eating for sure.
That's why this is like perfect. That's why I'm saying like today is perfect. And we have the chef back who what's a good tip real quick, because some of us are going to be coming and going, but what is a good tip, chef, for busy moms, like things that they can just start throwing in the basket as they're shopping, so it doesn't feel like, because a lot of people, when they go healthy, they feel like, oh my gosh, I'm like, that might be not putting sodas in the thing you know what I mean? Like this week, what are some tips that people can do?
I would say, what do they say? Stay on the outer aisles of the supermarket and visit your local farmer's market. Like, I think she had a great idea of blending veggies and sliding them in sausage. She's right, like spaghetti. I think I don't boil a lot of my vegetables because I think it's difficult to season water, right? So if you're boiling something that's made up of mostly water, you're never going to get flavor on it, really. So I roast a lot of my vegetables. I think just simple, small tweaks changes the entire flavor profile of something. Like, my nephew hates broccoli. He visited over the summer. I roasted some broccoli. He was eating it like chips. He was like, this is amazing. So just the difference in how you prepare food can make a difference as well. And you're not using necessarily salt or a lot of oils. I also think when people are calorie counting, you can get lost in that. Like, as I was kind of doing the work for the meal today, the calories in one of these potatoes is 297 before you add olive oil. So once olive oil is added, that math takes it up to like 416. And you can look at that and think, oh my God, but it's not a lot of olive oil. So in this entire meal, it's maybe 4 tablespoons throughout the different vegetables that I'm making, putting a little of it on the chicken before I put it in the oven. So olive oil gives you, she mentioned good fat, like you need fat in your diet. So it's that, but it's more calories.
Yeah, that's very true. And people kind of get in the weeds, and it's more about what's at the plate, because you could eat a candy bar for $2.50 and you could have had a whole meal for $2.50. So Chef, real quick, before, I don't want us to run out of time, can you show us what we got going on? What's the...
Okay, so right now we have some mushrooms in this pan. We had some technical difficulties. So we got mushrooms here. This is about 6 cups of spinach.
Okay.
And it's going to cook down to like a tablespoon of spinach.
Yeah.
Okay.
A whole bag of spinach
magic,
turns
right?
into like this.
Yeah, like you put it in a pan and then it cooks down to like a tablespoon of spinach in the pan. And then over here, I actually have, I'm pulling out our cauliflower and chicken. And I'll show you that as well.
So we started, recording like, I don't know, 20 minutes ago or whatever. So roughly a meal, so people don't get overwhelmed. It can about 20 minutes to cook the chicken, right? 20 minutes and even less for the veggies, right?
Yep. So the chicken is, I put it on 400 degrees and it's about 25 to 35 minutes for that chicken. So if you see, I have it on this pan, which gives you a little extra crisp, right? So
Nice.
If you sit your chicken down in your container, you're baking chicken. If you raise your chicken, you're roasting chicken. So that way air can kind of circulate under it and it gives you a different texture, a little more crisp, like you kind of get the feel like you have some fried chicken, but you don't. You still have chicken cooked in the oven, but it has a different texture. The cauliflower was in the oven for about 8 minutes. And then the spinach, the mushrooms, and the onions, just saute it in a pan. And then you can start assembling your sweet potato. For the sweet potato, you can bake a sweet potato in the microwave. I did that. I don't particularly like how it looks, but it's baked.
Well, yeah, and hey, if we got busy moms and we're trying to get something out, we have a few more minutes. We can go ahead and plate that so people can see how delicious
So this
is.
One from the microwave, and then I have that I put in the oven prior to.
And then that's a good tip that you shared too, because with the chicken, some people go, oh, it doesn't have any taste, but that giving it that crispiness makes it, to me, taste like something I want to eat.
Well, I like my sweet potato to look like.
Okay.
So this is from the oven.
So then you just put everything on the potato, it doesn't matter?
Load it all in your potato.
What I like about that is that you can use whatever vegetables you like. So if someone's saying, oh, I don't like spinach or I don't like cauliflower, by golly, you put whatever you want on that sweet potato as long as it's a nice, good vegetable.
And you can change your protein. You can do like shrimp. You can do
salmon
Yeah.
Awesome. That takes like no time. And then if you really, really, really want to take it to the next level, you can have leftovers for tomorrow and not go out and try to run out of your office, or if you're working remotely, you can just go, you know what, I already have lunch in the fridge, pop it in the microwave, and you're good to go. Because I feel like when you're more prepared, then you have a better chance to make better choices.
I think meal prep is important for sure. That way, make bulk stuff and like she said, maybe already put it in a little plate in the fridge, and then you have it. You can't say, oh, I didn't have time. I mean, Don't do one meal at a time. Why would you do that? Right. Madison, since we're trying to tie in fitness, of course, how often do you work out? And then you mentioned calories in, calories out, but you don't want to be married to the scale and a number, because that can be self-sabotage, first of all, but can also make you a Debbie Downer. We're like, oh no, I'm not eating that. That has 413 calories.
Yeah.
I was that person. So how often do you work out, and how do you mentally keep a check on like the chicken and the sweet potato, and I ate this many calories, so I had to do that, or as long as it's good, healthy calories, you don't watch the number too.
Well, for me, I've got my calorie count set up for the day. So it's like a bank. Okay. So I already have my meals prepped out. So I already know exactly how many calories in the meal currently, because I'm putting on muscle right now. I'm working out 3 days a week, but I'm lifting super, super heavy. That'll eventually go to 5 days a week as the weight comes down with the amount that I'm lifting, but the calories come down too. So then you just kind of spread it out, because at that point, I'm not trying to put on muscle. In order to do that, you have to eat. So everyone's going to be different. I'm at 2,100 calories right now. So that's a lot of food.
Yeah.
Some people may have you at lower calories, but at the end of the day, you have to do what kind of is going to work best for your body and allow your body to adjust. Typically, when I hit stage, for me, I'm coming in around 1,500 calories, 1,500 to 1,400 calories.
You were saying that Chef is over 6 foot tall, so her
yeah, she would need more. You have to go by your height, what your body is. She's going to need more than what I would need at 5'6". So, Chef, do we have it plated?
Calories are in that meal. I want to see the plate. Ooh,
okay. You can tilt it down. Ooh, you can put it where the blue. Put it down so we can. And there we go.
So she did that the whole time we were recording. She did that to show you how in real time that's like
it's really
a perfectly healthy meal.
And it is, like I said, it takes you about
there we go.
It's about $21. You can feed a family of 6. You can get 6 of these potatoes with all of the toppings, which is about $3.50 per person. It's also a great meal prep item too, as well.
And that right there is probably just for a ballpark, so people can understand. That's under 500 calories, probably between. Because I'm a dork, y'all. Don't ask. That's for another podcast or another video. That's for another day of Hey Girl, Let's Talk. But that's between probably around 450 to 500. But what people don't understand is that's going to keep you full. When you go through the drive-through, you're taking in 1,200 calories in one meal in the drive-through. So again, that's an example of the calorie numbers where it's important, but.
And also how your body is going to burn it. Your body is going to use that as proper fuel. So it might be like, oh, wait, that's too much food. But look at that. That is all food that your body's going to recognize. So when you go work out, you're going to perform at a better level than if you fueled yourself with, sugary sports drinks and a bran muffin. Like bran muffins aren't bad, but look at that versus that you've got your vegetables, you've got your protein, you've got your good carbs, and some of these things get bad raps and they don't need to, but fueling your body with something like that versus fueling it will totally change how you perform in any sport. There are athletes all across the board, and you girls can attest to this, that have said, oh, I ate like garbage when I was in college doing I was having pizza and burgers and, beer and whatever. And it's again, you kind of wish you knew then what you knew now about food.
Exactly.
How you performing, if you had this knowledge back then.
But it's a thing now. So that's what we are privileged and lucky to see. It's no longer like, ooh, what are they doing? But we're going to have to wrap it up. And Chef Tish, thank you so much. She's back. Thank you. Where can people find you? Can you real quick just tell us where we can find you?
Yes, I have a website. It's tishesdishes.com. That's T-I-O. It's down at the bottom.
Yeah, we got you.
Yes. Y'all are great. Yes.
Right down there.
I'm on social media as well. It's Tish's 1_dishes. There's somebody else out there with 2 underscores. She didn't mess me up.
Yeah, you got to make sure you have all those. But thank you for checking in. We'll probably see you later on down the line.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Yes. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to reply so we can see that if there's topics you want us to talk about. We will be more than happy to talk about it. Myself, Holly, Olympia D, this is our passion. This is what fuels us, so we can just be better people overall in general. And just make sure you check it out every Tuesday, 6 p.m. for a Hey Girl, Let's Talk. And we'll have an episode every single week again. Chef Tish right here in Charlotte. Thank you. Holly.
Thank you.
Thank you as well. I'll see you later on.
All right.
All right, ladies. Have a good one.